Hey, what's going on, guys? Justin here, and in this video, I'm going to walk you guys through a breakdown of our PDF that we just released, Best Practices for Converting Leads into Appointments. Now, we put this out on a lot of our social media accounts, and we had over 700 people ask for this PDF, so I figured I'd do a quick breakdown video and walk you guys through this. So let me go ahead and pull this up. You'll see, here's the PDF. If you guys want access to this, we're going to put a link down in the description. You just click that link, enter in a couple pieces of information, we'll be sure to send that over to you. So here is the actual PDF itself. So what we did is we looked at over 25,000 unique leads, over 260,000 call attempts, 320,000 text messages, over 10,000 sales appointments booked, and a 42% conversion rate, which is we are super proud of because industry average conversion rate from lead to booked appointment is around 20%. And this looked at a 10-month period. This isn't something that we looked at over years and years and years. So our focus was to figure out what the optimal procedures, times, frequencies for companies to convert leads into appointments. Now, one thing that I will say about all of this data is that these leads were inbound leads. So these were leads that were filling out a form on Facebook or going through a YouTube funnel or going through something like that, like responding back through text messages or emails. So these were inbound leads. So what we found was that the best days of the week to actually convert leads into sales appointments were at the beginning of the week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Later on in the weekend, kind of tapers down from that. And we also found that females are more likely to book appointments at 57.3% compared to males at 42.7%. So females have higher conversion rates. So best time of the day to convert leads into appointments, if we look at this, it's anywhere between 4 to 7 p.m., right? With 12, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4 p.m. is the highest likelihood, right? This is around the late afternoon, people are getting off work, and you can see that 22.29% of appointments are booked between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. during their lunch breaks. 24.28 appointments while people are getting off work, and another 22.18 appointments are after normal operating hours. Now, you can see here that we are booking some appointments in the middle of the night, and it does kind of taper down. But what I will say about this is the text messages and the emails that we were sending, the automations that were going out whenever they booked, within the first 5 minutes they were going out, but they also had a link so people could self-book, right? So what we found though is that the chances of them booking was a lot higher when we actually had a human-to-human interaction. And that's why you see the increase here. So what we were doing is we were calling between local hours of 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. So you can see why this is so much higher. The number one reason that we found that was booking leads into appointments was actually getting them on the phone within the first 5 minutes with a real life human being. And that's why we talk about appointment setters a lot. And that's why appointment setters are so important, because as a business owner, if you're generating a lot of leads and they're coming in, you don't have time to call them within 5 minutes. And then you don't have time to do all the number of follow-ups. And we'll talk about that here in a second. But what we found, we actually looked over another article, and this is data from Harvard Business Review. We found that if you call a lead within the first 5 minutes, that's the highest likelihood of you converting that lead. After 5 minutes, it drops drastically. It decreases by over 400%. So response time is key. And the conversions, what we found was that conversions by follow-up attempts with call and SMS, call usually generates a higher likelihood that you'll book that appointment, and then text message are usually pretty good. But the first handful of messages are where you're going to see most of your appointments come in. We also, from Harvard Business Review, saw that if you call at least 6 times, make at least 6 attempts reaching out to book that appointment, the chances of you qualifying increase to like 90%, right? Now, most reps, most people, most business owners, they stop after 3 times. But the data shows that if you at least do 6, the chances of you qualifying that lead increase drastically. So you can see here, calls are more effective than text messages. And then these are the best practices for lead nurturing to increase engagement. So this is an SMS schedule, this is a call schedule, and this is an email schedule, all done in tandem. So let's go through the SMS schedule. So day 1, geared around introduction, verifying interest, enticing them with a freebie or a value add. Now, I will say the freebie and value add, it does help, but it is not necessary. So you don't actually have to have it, but it does help. Day 2 and 5, add value, call to action that encourages them to engage, usually geared around, hey, this is why I called. Day 7, touching base, checking in, are you still experiencing whatever problem they have? Day 12, are we being a nuisance? Is everything okay? Day 15, well, this is awkward, right? So that's like the overall general text message SMS schedule. And then this is the call schedule. So day 1, we do 3 calls and then a voicemail. We do what's called a bulldog call. So once we call, they don't answer, we hang up, we call right back. And then if they don't answer, we hang up and we call right back again, because normally that increases the likelihood that they will pick up. And then after the 3rd time, we leave a voicemail. So we do 3 bulldog calls repeatedly. Now, what I will say with the bulldog calls, some people are like, oh, what's going on? Why are you calling me? And then you just kind of tell them, hey, I just saw that you opted into this thing. And they're like, oh yeah. And then that usually diffuses the situation, right? So just heads up, bulldog calls are effective, but sometimes it takes a little tiptoeing around when someone answers. Day 2, 2 calls and voicemail, morning and afternoon, and then voicemail after the 1st call. So first call in the morning, 2nd call in the afternoon, make sure you leave a voicemail. In the afternoon, you don't have to. Number 1 on day 3 and 4 are 1 calls with no voicemails. Day 6, 2 calls and a voicemail. Voicemail after the 1st call, just like we talked about before. And day 8, 1 call with a voicemail. Day 11, 1 call, no voicemail. Day 14, voicemail after last call. Say, hey, this is our last attempt. It's kind of in your court now. And then this is the email schedule. What we like to do is day 1 through 5 follow soap opera sequence, kind of telling a story of how they experience problems. And then you can see that soap opera sequence really from Russell Brunson. That's a link in the PDF that you guys get. You can click that link. And then day 7, 9, 11, 14, and 21, and 28, it's a mini story. Think Seinfeld. Like no one episode is related to the last. You really need to focus on the problem, solution, referencing to case studies and proof, so that when they see that, they're like, oh yeah, okay, these people are legit, right? And then just follow up emails from there. So that kind of breaks down the PDF on the best practices for converting leads into appointments. We did a handful of other videos where I referenced this, like what an appointment setter is. I know we talked about appointment setters, how they should do outbound and inbound. I'm going to link those videos down below. If you guys want the scripts that appointment setters should use, we're going to link that down below as well. And then also, if you want access to this PDF, we're going to link that. You just click that link, enter in some information. We'll be sure to get that over to you. Now, if you like this video, go ahead and click that thumbs up. Click the subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments, and we'll respond to those as soon as possible. And I hope to see you guys on the next videos.